To all the judges and everybody who sponsored and everything. So my name is Will. I'm the CTO of Savant. I did want to start with a little bit of history about the company. It's not a well-known company outside of sort of the luxury home automation space, or at least it hadn't been. And so, we're working every day to change that and to have more people learn about who we are. We started in roughly 2002 or so. And so we've been around the block for quite a while in the home. And the energy part of the company, RacePoint Energy, is where I was hired on. And that started around 2015, 2016. So since then, we've been building energy products in a variety of forms and acquiring different companies and building up our sort of competency around smart energy and sort of energy automation, as well as generally home automation. So we've got 10,000 integrations, and what we mean by those are individual products that we control through our system. So that's anything from shades, music systems, TVs, receivers, cameras, like almost if it has any kind of control and it's in the home, chances are we have some way to control it. We have, 5,000 or more installers worldwide. Tons of retail locations, 4.5 million customers in the cloud already. I do want to point out, it's not on the slide later, but it was brought up about local control versus cloud control. We are also local first, just like Haven and Lumen. So we can go through the cloud if you're not home, but we are all local first. And yes, we have 7 million devices connected. So next slide. So the way that service upgrade avoidance works is it's not the same as Lumen, right? Service upgrade avoidance there's kind of only a couple of ways to slice that pie. And the general idea is that you want to make sure that you are always staying within the breaker capacity of your main breaker, and that's 80% of the rated load. And so the way we achieve that is through two ways. One is smart control. That would be digital connections to HVAC controllers and EV chargers. And then the other way for all those other cases, and water heaters, but the other way is through our breaker companion modules. Now, these are not breakers, they're companions to breakers. And what that means is they snap into a panel and they're wired in series. And they are monitoring that voltage, current, power factor of the power that they're receiving. And they are also then allowing you to control that. And we have three classes of models. There's a 20 amp 2-pole, a 30 amp dual pole, and a 60 amp dual pole. And all of them can work obviously less than their rated capacity. So you could put a 60 amp breaker on a 50 or 40 amp 2-pole circuit, right? So if you need to control 100 amps, the way that we do that is with a 2-pole 20 amp controlling a contactor, and then that's how you can control your 100 amps. So we also have what we call a current track module, which clamps CTs onto your main feed, and that measures your entire panel. So that's how we get the sort of broad scope power consumption of your entire home that we can do our budgeting around. We have scene-based control of your loads, which are sort of bundles of state, you can think of it. So it's like, oh, I want to have my cooking scene run. So your microwave's on, your kitchen outlets are on, oven's on, range top, all those things are on. And then you can also have a laundry scene where water heater, dryer, washer, those are on. EV charging, maybe that's separate. And depending on how oversubscribed you are versus your panel, you might have to have more smaller scenes to really sort of surgically decide what you need. Another way, though, is a more dynamic system and a priority-based. So you can turn something on, we'll detect that you're over budget, and we'll make that change automatically. So we support both of those modes, and sort of depending on how involved the consumer wants to be in managing their system. All of our products work also without the context of service upgrade avoidance. So if you do have a 200 amp panel, you're good to go. You can use all of these products to monitor, manage, and take ownership over your electrical system to your heart's content. So let's go to the next slide. Right. So this sort of, is a big summary of sort of applications that we support and also where we've been adopted so far. We've got a couple of great grants that we just came through. So Connecticut Green Bank is a grant proposal we worked with through them, working with another company called Tantalus. And so that's working on lower income, single family homes and MDUs, multi-dwelling unit applications to do smart meter integration, hot water, all those kinds of things. We've done utility pilots for demand. DERs is, I'm just brain farting. Anyways, to do DERs, microgrid, you know what that is. Load management, things like that. Load shifting, wind power, EV heating, or EV charging and water heating with another utility. So we've done a bunch of utility projects. I know that there are participants on the call that we're working with. I'm not sure how our NDI status is, but you know who you are. So we're doing a lot of work with utilities and small and large. So for small utilities, co-ops, municipals, things like that, we can work with Tantalus. A lot of those small utilities are already working with a partner like Tantalus to work with our systems. Yeah, so there's also one last thing I want to talk about is that's the Net Zero Partnership. And so that's a grant application that we did that we're doing in Joshua Tree, where we're doing a new neighborhood that's all net zero. So we're working with GE appliances. We're doing solar, battery, load management in those homes to dynamically change when the homes use, consume, when they charge, when they discharge, to ensure that all of the energy they consume is carbon neutral. And so it's a net zero neighborhood. So I'm not sure if we have another slide or not. Is that it?
I don't believe you do.
Okay,
But
perfect. That's great. So yeah, that's it. And thanks to everyone for listening.